Hey guys, so today we're going to go over some objections that you may hear inside of a home. Three of the most common ones are the I want to think about it, I want to talk to my kids, and I'm going to go to the funeral home. Those are the three most common and yet probably the three most difficult for most new agents. So first we're going to tackle the I want to think about it. So if you've done your due diligence inside the house, you're going to present your client numbers in the three option format. The three option format is showing them 10, 15, 20,000, 10, 20, 30,000. You're going to list the benefits on those on those three different policies, maybe nursing home rider, free terminal illness rider, and things like that. But once you're giving out the numbers and you show them the numbers and you say which one fits your budget best, and they're not typically choosing one, that's a giveaway. If they take more than a couple minutes or a minute to look at it and not choose one almost instantly, that's a giveaway that you're going to get an objection and you need to be prepared. So what we're going to do here is get you prepared for those objections. So the first one, I want to think about it. Miss Barbara, of course you should think about it. I would want you to think about it. But unless we have you approved, there really is nothing to think about. So let's do this. We're going to get you approved, see if we get you approved. And then if we do, I'll bring the policy by. We'll sit down together and take a look at it together. And then if you want to keep it, you keep it. If you don't, you don't. There's no strings attached. But this will give you plenty of time to think about it. Sounds fair? And you nod your head. Okay, that will typically work 90% of the time or more. Another one for the I want to think about it is, Miss Barbara, I noticed that when somebody says they want to think about it, it's for one of three reasons. First, they maybe don't like the insurance company. Do you have a problem with Mutual of Omaha, maybe, that you're upset with them over something? Client will say no. Then you're going to ask, well, is it me? Did I do something to offend you? And again, she's going to say, oh, no, you were great. Then say, well, then it must be the premium or the payment. Is that maybe a little bit high on the budget for you? And you nod your head slowly like this. And she's typically going to say yes. Say, okay, I understand completely, because insurance is not worth having if you can't afford to pay for it. So tell me, what would your ideal budget be? And they'll typically say $35 to $40, something like that. They'll give you a range. At that point, you want to overshoot the range by a couple of bucks. Just push the envelope a little bit, get her to $42, $43, right? Don't go too much higher than that. And just say, okay, Miss Johnson, so you're telling me if we got you closer to your range, you'd feel more comfortable with doing this. Is that correct? And you nod your head. Well, once she says yes, you've just got the commitment to do business today. So then you're going to show her pricing on a three option close, which would show 10,000, 15, and 20,000, and it will show all of the benefits that come along with it, like terminal illness, nursing home rider, accidental if it's available, and things like that. The next one we're going to touch on is going to be, I want to talk to my kids. This is a relatively easy one too, for more experienced agents. So I want to talk about it with my kids simply goes like this, and it's really only one that I use. Oh, Miss Barbara, of course you should talk to your kids. I wouldn't want you doing anything without talking to them. But unless we have you approved, there's nothing to talk to them about. So let's do this. Let's get you approved first. If I get you approved, they're going to send me the policy. I'll bring it by, and I'm going to sit down with you and your kids, and we're going to go over everything together. And if they give it the approval, then you keep it. If they don't, then I take it away and you never see it again. Sound fair? And you nod your head. And that's it. That's as simple as it gets. And it's very effective. It works way more than it doesn't. I would say, again, you probably have a 90% success rate with that one. The next one is a funeral home one, and this is the most difficult one for most agents, experienced or not. A lot of agents do have an issue with this one. So the funeral home one, I actually got hit with it today, as a matter of fact. And I overcame it like nothing. So client says, you know what, I just might want to go down to the funeral home. Miss Barbara, that's understandable. The funeral home does serve a purpose for the community. However, buying insurance on monthly payments from them is not really insurance. What you're doing is you're prepaying the funeral. So let's say you're paying $50 a month. In 3 years, you're only going to have a few $100s into that policy. And if something happens to you, your family's only going to have a few $100s to do what they need to do with you. And that's just not enough for even car fare to the funeral home. So what I would do is I would look at an insurance plan that puts the risk on the insurance company and takes it off of you. Because even if you're going with a funeral home, the risk is entirely on you, not them. And what they'll do is they won't even do the funeral. They'll hold your body in a freezer until the money is raised to pay for the funeral. So another thing is, if that funeral home goes out of business, you're out of money. Or let's say you want to move somewhere. Well, you can't, because your funeral has to be back here. And if you do move and you want to have your funeral back here, well, you better buy more coverage, because it's going to cost an estimated $1,600 to $2,000 to ship the body back. So the cheaper, more cost-effective way, and the more sensible way, is just to put all that responsibility onto an insurance carrier and just put it behind you, so you never have to worry about it again. So let me ask you, did you want the 5,000, 10,000, or 15,000? And just leave it at that, okay? And then you don't talk. So the funeral home one it's very effective. You should rarely, if ever, lose any business to a funeral home. Another thing to mention to the client, if they do hit you with funeral home that they want to go buy a policy from them, that's a different story now. If they want to buy a policy from the funeral home, great. Well, you know what? We can help you with that too, because we deal with the same carriers that they deal with. Now, typically a funeral home is going to deal with Great Western and Lincoln Heritage. Those are the two big ones. Lincoln Heritage and Great Western will usually put people that go through a funeral home into a 2-year wait. So you should have no competition from the funeral home. And if you do your job right when you're building rapport, that shouldn't even become an issue later on in the conversation, especially when it comes time to close. I hope this helped everybody. You guys have a great day, and